Hello and welcome to this demo. Initially written in French, so I'm doing a voiceover in English. I hope it's going to be okay. So the first thing I wanted to show you is where I get my GeoJSON objects. In France, we're lucky to have a French Rail SNCF open data website where you can find a lot of precious GeoJSON objects on the different infrastructures on the French lines. So, for example, this one is level crossing lists. So you can get a lot of precious GeoJSON and download it in this format or any other format. So what we see here is the downloaded file. It's really a classical GeoJSON object. However, this object is a collection, and what we want is different separate objects. So to load this into our MongoDB NoSQL database. So this is one thing we'll have to do, is separate all those GeoJSON. You can see there are points, but of course it will work with any other types of GeoJSON objects, lines, etc. So this is fairly classical. So now we are going to look at the Talend job that's going to let us load the data into MongoDB with components. The first step, however, is how I explained, is to split the collection into different objects, because as I told you, I want different objects rather than a big list of objects. This is better. This is actually mandatory to be able to do geo calculations on distinct objects. So we are going to use for that a little software called GQ that I'm going to call from the Talend job. GQ is, you can find it for free online, and it lets you manipulate different JSON objects. So this is the results here. So you see we don't have a collection, we have a list of separate objects now, and we're going to bulk load all of them into our MongoDB database. You don't know Talend yet, we are going to use the components from the palette of Talend, which lets you really easily build a connection to MongoDB and bulk load data from a file or from a flow of data, really. So this accelerates development of powerful data flow when it comes to MongoDB or any other sources. Yeah, you just have to put in the host, and then so you can use contexts as well to put some variables in and reuse them in the components, so you don't have to write the hosts 20 times, for instance. And basically that's it. We are ready to go. So the idea, however, is to be able to load multiple GeoJSON files one shot. So this is why we do a more global job on the top of it, which is going to look at all the GeoJSON files I have in a repository of my drive, and for each of them we'll apply the subjob, which you have seen, which loads into a collection all the lines in one file as separate GeoJSON objects. And the most important here is to be able to create a geographical index using a command line of MongoDB, And this, I can use this component of Talend to send this command line to MongoDB in order to specify on which data I am going to build this geographical index, okay, which is in my case the geometry object, which contains latitude and longitude. So this index will then let you operate powerful geographic operations. So you can see here the results in MongoDB now. I have a lot of separate objects with different types. So I think this one is a station, and you have the object here with the geometry object with latitude, and you can see in this collection, which is called infrastructure, train infrastructure, that we have an index built on it, on the geometry, and it is a geospatial index, okay, which is mandatory for what we want to do.